Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, thank you for joining me. I am the Sparkle Queen. It's been a long time since I've made a video, but you know what? Not without, I don't like to just jump on here and just have anything to say just to upload. So you'll find me coming on here more and more if I feel led. This video is about spiritual warfare. And the reason why I want to talk to you about spiritual warfare is because I've experienced spiritual warfare many times, but I think for this time is the first time that I've dealt with spiritual warfare properly and taking the time to understand it and learn it and identify the difference between different behaviors just to normal behaviors that are rude and disrespectful to what is spiritual warfare. Let me just let my cat in. I will not be that long. Come on, quick. He's so self-entitled, my cat. Right. So the first thing I want to say to you is that when you have spiritual warfare, it is a time to test you. It's a time to test you and to strengthen you, to see what it is that, to see what you can do, how you're going to come through it. There's a silver line. It's a silver lining, meaning there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but it's also there to learn something. Now, spiritual warfare, when it comes to the Bible really does not teach you how to identify spiritual warfare. So these are some of the key things that I want to pick up on today. Spiritual warfare can come in any place. It can come if you're married, between your spouse's side of the family. It can come in your neighborhood, but amongst your neighbors. It can rear its ugly head at the workplace. And the reason why these things happen is because, as I said, it's there to, God allows it to happen because there are parts of you that need strengthening. There are parts of you that has left the window open. When the Bible and you hear preachers talking about the window, you understand that it's the eyes and the ears and the mouth, but it is also the heart as well. So the window is also your thoughts. Your thoughts is, if it's negative or easily can be controlled, is also a window. Because spirits know God's law better than we know God's law. If you follow him, God, and you're one of his saints, or you might not be that strong in the faith, but you know that God is the main source, the creator, the I am that I am. God allows it because this is the universal balance, good and evil. Good or evil. So these two forces will always exist. So you can pray, spiritual warfare and learn to put on the armor of God. But if you personally do not change, there's a message in it for you. And it's as horrendous as it can be, there's still a message in it. And within that message is to tighten up, to close the door, to close any windows, to shut off all seals. And it starts with the mind. The mind is what allows the spiritual warfare to take its shape. Let me give you an example. If you see somebody and your spirit doesn't take to them, and it doesn't matter if it's someone that is in prayer, that's with God, or somebody that is not with God. If you see someone from that kind of opposite side and you say, nothing's happened, you don't know them, they're still an unknown person to you. And the first thing you say is, I don't know what it is, but it's something about that person I don't really like. You are now calling that person to be an opponent in your life going forward. It might take its shape there and then. It might take its shape 6 months from now. Your frequency and your vibrations has to always be up here. An eagle flies high. An eagle never flies low. The higher the issue, the higher the eagle flies. God sees us as that eagle, and the frequency is a representation of that eagle. So let's go to identifying spiritual warfare, and then we'll come back to that sort of conversation which goes on within the same, radius of this. The first thing is that you will not notice that groups will form against you. Groups that were never friends before you came along. These types of people, because remember the Bible says the enemy comes to kill, steal and destroy. So when these people come, they know that you're more powerful. It's not them, let's be clear. It's the spirit that has attached themselves to that person, knows you carry a light, and that light is of God. And through that light, that's where the hate comes from them to you, because they understand you've received blessing and love from God, which is the most powerful thing you can receive. So they pick up on that. They form groups because individually they do not feel they can take you down by themselves. They will create within that group that they're not even friends, but you are the main common denominator. They are on an assignment to kill, steal and destroy. They will create confusion towards you. You do not know what's going on. If they can't create confusion, they can't get you that way, they will start to have the lying tongue and spreading lies and slander. And they will try also to isolate you by influencing people that don't know you and creating allies, to create a narrative or a false character about yourself. Not only that, what you will notice with people that are under possession by darker spirits is that they also, even though they say they don't like you, they will be watching you. They'll be watching you, what you do, where you go, if they're in your neighborhood, even when you leave the house, you come back. If they can't get you that way, they will try their hardest to see if they can look you up on social media and try and find out, as much as they possibly can, your family, what friends you have, who you're dating, if you've got children, anything that you post about yourself, they will want to know all of that as a way of finding ammunition against you, a way of feeling like they have something to sort of snuff you about. Because the truth is, they know that you are better than them. They know that your walk and your path is greater than theirs, and they're choosing not to join or to be on the side that you're on, which is to follow God, okay? Which is to pray, follow God, live a better life, serve their purpose. The only way in spiritual warfare, when you've put on the armor of God and it doesn't work, is if you are not changing your thought process. Your thought process is the most powerful thing. And if you're creating and speaking life into the spiritual warfare, it gives more torment for you in your life. Because they can see, and remember, this is what they want. They want to torment you, and they want confirmation. They want to see you cry. They want to see that they've broken you down, because then they feel like, yes, we won. They want you to give in and say, okay, I'm wrong, you're right. Even if you've done nothing wrong. Because remember, in spiritual warfare, all you've got to do is breathe, and these people will come up against you. Because they don't even understand why they're doing it. They just know that they're doing it. And they will lead themselves to believe that you are the problem, when in fact it is them that is the problem. And they are like spiritual children. So even though these people could be ranged from 15 to 80 years old, okay, they're spiritual children. Physical age has nothing to do with the spiritual body. And in spirit, they are children. They have not progressed or evolved in their spirit life whatsoever. Number 2, God wants you to develop your spiritual life and strengthen it. Because more time We go to church. Well, not me personally. I'm a woman of faith, but I do not attend a church because I find, just very briefly, that some churches don't cover some of the aspects of what God really is. The Bible doesn't even tell you who God really is, you know? So I seek those information because if I am following an entity, I want to know what that entity is in all its entirety. And hopefully you feel the same. So my hope, for me, when I came into my own spiritual warfare, I had to learn. One was to wait on the Lord, okay, and to trust in Him. But my own thoughts and my personal behavior was to just be physical and fight it physical. So because I was physical in the physical world first, in terms of the world, I just dealt with it how I would have dealt with it in the world when I had my personal spiritual warfare, until I had to realize and I was told, this is not, I'm trying to fight this physically. This is not a physical thing. This is spiritual warfare. So when spiritual warfare comes, know that these people do not have new tricks because they are of the devil, their father, and the devil, their father, does not have any new tricks. It is one way and one way only: to torment, to confuse you, to come up in groups, to create slander, to create lies, to spy, to be jealous of you, to be envious of you. These are the traits that will be of the people that will come up against you. Remember, who are not even friends. They're just on an assignment to carry out and to see whether you can pass that test or not. Your side of it is to strengthen yourself. Strengthen your thought process. No negative thought processes. Pray if you feel like sometimes you are distracted or you have disbelief in yourself, or there's a lack of self-love, lack of self-value, lack of having fear, worry. All of those traits is an issue for you and basically following the Lord. Because when you're in God, there is no room for fear, worry, negative thoughts. Everything about you needs to be strengthened, and how you view life is very important. How you speak about yourself is very important, and how you speak about your life is very important, because like I said, words have power. And when we say anything that is doubtful, worrying, or shows our fear, what we fear about life and ourselves, you will have these attacks which will have no real connection to what it is you're dealing with. But it's there to drive and force you to experience those emotions within the warfare. Now, just going back slightly, my spiritual warfare was, I had 5 people in my neighborhood, neighbors amongst me, that went against me for no justifiable reason whatsoever. You don't really need one with these kinds of people. They are people that have been hurt. They are people that have trauma. They are people that have a dark soul, fragmented soul. So evil can host themselves within that person. Just like an angel can host themselves within a human, evil can host themselves within that a person of a low vibrational. That is low vibrational. So when these spiritual warfare happens, God's reminding you, you need to stay high like an eagle. Your frequency needs to, the spirit within you needs to remain high in order for me to administer my angel of hosts to speak to you. Allowing you to hear my words, allowing you to hear my guides, allowing you to hear anything, all the gifts that is your purpose, on your life's purpose, so you can carry out your life purpose with ease. But if you are up and down, or you matching them on the low vibrational, you are pulling away. You will be pulling away the connection the telepathic connection to the Most High God. So in hindsight, okay, when we think, okay, I want to say something before I go on to say that. When I read the Bible, one of the things that stood out to me was in many of the stories, because the Bible is like an Anansi in a respect. It doesn't mean that it's not true. It just means that like I said, it's not about God as the creator. Okay? But one of the things in that day, those people, what stood out to me is that anytime they interacted with each other and they carried out a task or they went to each other's house, where by the end of that meeting, no matter what it was, there was a blessing given. They blessed each other. These days, all people do is curse you. And that is still powerful as well. But all people do that nowadays is cursing you. When you are given a blessing, that is the highest form of a gift somebody can give to you. Because that prayer towards you is given, it's sent to heaven. And it's like giving you wealth and being bountiful if you can have 10 people bless you. Churches don't even do that, encourage that. But it's a powerful, powerful thing. Don't just ask for prayers when you're sick. You're supposed to, when you congregate as saints, you pray for each other immediately. You pray for each other just like you pray to God. And you give each other blessings that way, covering each other. So therefore, you have favor, you have blessing, you're bountiful. All of our purpose, when it comes down to it as saints, is to ascend and represent God here on earth. Okay? When we represent God, we show the wicked how you are supposed to act. And when I say about fear, I mean God wants us, the Creator God, a higher wants us to, when we interact with each other, okay, and there is discord or spiritual warfare, because spiritual warfare could take its fatal turn, that you never fight back, that you never hit back, that your love within you from God that you've received is emanated out and it's powerful, that it would never want you to slap your opponent back. Even if your opponent tries to fight you, you could be the better fighter. You could be even if the opponent is trying to curse you out or cuss you out, you may have a sharper tongue. But that is the old you, which is of the world. And it takes more strength to be still and to be silent than it is to extend your arm and slap someone across the face. That is quick and easy. But because we are the body, and even though there is hate as much as love, we are all still one. So even though I might be the lung, the person who hates me is the arm. They are still part of the body. Whether they decide to pray or not, because they're still God's children. In fact, God still loves them just as much as he loves me, even though they have consequences. And those consequences will be very painful, extremely painful for them. But it's a small price to pay to be silent, to be still, and to wait on the Lord, than to join in, lower your vibration, create discord and upset for other people in their life. Because when it's the appointed time and it's the courts of heaven decide, you have to feel everything you dished out. You slap someone, you will actually have to feel it back. You curse somebody, you have to feel it back. You've robbed people of their money, you have to have something taken from you too. It's the law of averages. So it is a small price to pay. If you fear that you're going to get sick, you will get sick. If you fear that you're going to catch a disease, you will catch a disease. Anything you fear, you bring to yourself. And if you speak life into it, it will definitely come to pass. What we have to do as saints on a regular basis is boost ourselves up, bless ourselves, and also each other, to raise that vibration on a continuous basis, as well as prayer and putting on the full armor of God, or fasting. Our spiritual life needs to be taken so seriously for us to be powerful, because the truth is, when you're in God, there is so much power that and unlimitless power that we as human beings are supposed to have, and we're not possessing, because we do not go to God, we do not wait on God, we do not try to find out the law of God and how we connect to the same universe within that same realm, within this same heaven. So telepathically, we're supposed to be able to speak to one another and hear each other as saints. We are supposed to be able to speak to God and hear from God. Well, actually, we're not going to ever hear from God directly, and I'll tell you why. God's voice is so, you couldn't even understand what he's saying, because the truth is, he sounds like the wind, he sounds like the earth, like the four elements, the sea, the wind, the rain, lightning, everything like that sounds, and it's just, it's audible. All it will do is make you sweat, shudder, be fearful, be scared, and you just want to hide, because spiritually you feel, this is something far too powerful and great for you to even comprehend. So God uses the angels of hosts to communicate to you, because our energy, our vibrations is a little too low for us to connect anyway. So when we say we spoke to God or God spoke to us, it is through the angel. God gives the angel the green light to say, yeah, you can speak to that person, or that person needs help. Sometimes you don't even be praying. Some people don't even be praying, and God comes and allows angels to come and speak to them. Why? Because somebody else within their family, of their friends, may have been praying for that person. Their grandmother, somebody, unbeknownst to the person that is on the dark side, on the side of the wicked. And they have been given favor because all their prayer bottles have been stacked up on the behalf of someone else. So praying for someone is huge, it's massive. Blessing each other is massive. And when it comes from the heart and it's authentic, it's even more of a big deal. So I hope I covered everything. Okay, there are Psalms that you can read if you're going through spiritual warfare. The one I read was Psalms 50. Well, actually, the one that was given to me by God was Psalms 54 and Psalms 36 on quite a regular basis, because that personally pertained to me and my situation. But you know what? On top of that, I then started to hear telepathically words given to me by the angels of hosts. And I haven't brought it here, but I'm going to quickly go and grab it, and I want you to listen, and hopefully, because this is top shelf stuff. Okay, so please hang on for a second. I'm just going to grab it. It's just over there. One sec. Now listen to what was shared with me, okay? I rearrange you. Your beliefs, your fears and your trauma, your self-worth, your self-love, your value and your doubt. Everything you do becomes successful because of me. You feel protected and covered. So why are you persecuted? Your faith is tested to come to the Father for everything. Your spiritual life needs to be strengthened. There are still parts of you that need to be changed. You must learn to want to wait on God. No matter the persecution, you must not fight physically, judge anybody, hate anybody. Stay silent until the appointed time. If there is confusion, you must speak truth. If they try to set traps, you must put on the full armor of God. You must learn to pray fervently so God can show you all things, signs and wonders. He waits. I think I've written this bit a bit. It's my fault. He wants your time because the love he has is unmanageable, unexplainable for any human mind. These things I tell you is to maintain consistency in your frequency. Going against them will lower your frequency and you will feel that in your energy. Bad energy, what you call the enemy, is there to distract you. But when you speak life into that energy, you create that reality. Reflect on what I am saying. Don't believe me? Write down your thoughts every time it's a negative one and watch it come to pass. But if you train your mind, now this is very important, but if you train your mind to have good thoughts, that will come to pass. So think big, because nothing is impossible. Remember that. Fear no man and put your trust in God, and I will show you great and mighty things. Everything else will be blocking your blessing and is a distraction. Come, I will show you, then you will understand. Your loving Father. Kiss, kiss, kiss. And they are very loving. So, as it was shared with me, I'm sharing it with you. Stay positive, put on the armor, go to the Father, learn to wait on him, let go of doubt, trust, negative thoughts, and you will win the spiritual battle. Until next time, I am the Sparkle Queen. Amen and peace.